The pleasure of the board, we'd like to ask the superintendent to give us an update.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, next week we will begin our final statewide tour to discuss our career education efforts across our state and career diploma implementation specifically. And I wanted just to share with you some of the details of that tour. As you know, we have done 3 statewide tours in every large geographic region of the state over the course of that period. And we have gleaned from that a couple of important lessons learned about career education in our state. Number one, we really need to remove the stigma that too often is attached to career education. And 2, if we're to offer real economic opportunity to those kids not immediately going to a 4-year university, we have to ensure that the career education that we provide is resulting in credentials that allow them to continue their education and to succeed in the workplace. As a result, we'll be proposing very specific components next week for public discussion of a proposal that we call Jumpstart. It will include consideration of 8th graders making the transition to high school, of the 9th and 10th grade curriculum, as well as the 11th and 12th grade curriculum, the credentials that students can achieve in that time, the rewards that school systems will accrue when students succeed in career education, and how it is that we will fund a system of technical preparation such that students can take Louisiana jobs. And I know this was said yesterday by one of our course provider candidates, but I think in the end we should aspire toward a time when the jobs that are available to Louisiana families are taken by Louisiana graduates, and that those graduates are prepared for that. Jumpstart will propose a way of getting at it, but we've still got a ways to go before final policy is made, and we'll be in discussions about it. So you have it. I will be in Baton Rouge next week, the 21st, and you've received, I believe, a schedule of this. I'll be in Alexandria the 22nd, Lake Charles the 23rd, and Shreveport on the 30th to meet with members of the public, practitioners, industry, higher ed, our K-12 educators and administrators, as well as elected officials about these issues, and hope to bring back to you as we move ahead in February and March policy that gets this work up and running and really revitalizes career education and provides opportunity for kids across our state. This is the area, as you know, from a policy perspective on which we've been spending the most time over the course of the last year. President Romer, I thank Ms. Cope for the time that she's dedicated to this effort, and to the superintendents, Dr. Peugeot, as well as administrators across the state for so much of the work that they've done to help us get there. There are already outstanding high school programs across the state that provide kids with the kinds of courses, some of them traditional, some of them not, that prepare kids for the technical workplace and the information technology workplace. And we're very pleased today to have Woodlawn High School Representative Daniel Elland, who is the leader that I actually came into contact with a couple of years ago of the robotics program. I think robotics is one of the finest curricular and extracurricular programs that we have operating in Louisiana. At Woodlawn, they have an outstanding program, and I've become a little bit familiar with their work. They have started recently a 6-week design process where they actually literally build a machine. They build a robot, and we're so blessed today because outside, and if you have a couple of minutes to step outside, and I encourage every member of the audience to do this, they have a demonstration site. I believe it's a pit. Is that the technical term for it? There you go. Where the robot, in its current state of development, is on display. They've just started this process. Do you have a finished one outside, Dan? A demonstration robot outside. That will then go to New Orleans, where they'll be competing with 55 other programs, and then ultimately, hopefully, I believe, to St. Louis, where they'll be hopefully competing in a national championship with hundreds across the state.
The biggest thing we did, of course, we took care of our normal course of business, but probably the most significant thing we did was came to an agreement on what the funding formula task force, the MFP task force that reports to us about funding of public education, had made a recommendation to us, and we accepted that recommendation. And critical parts of that recommendation was the idea that we would continue and add an emphasis to career training in the funding that we haven't done in the past, that we would continue to fund districts to provide alternative courses to students on subject matter that may not be offered at the physical location that they're in, so they'd be able to take those courses elsewhere, but the districts would be able to pay for it. And then we ended up making increases that were temporary last year, became permanent, or we're suggesting that they be permanent for this year. So, that's fairly significant, and it was a broad base of support for that idea. Often our meetings are contentious, which I don't mind a little debate, but we had a lot of diverse groups that were in agreement on that topic, and I think that's a good step forward for us.
What is the next step?
Well, a couple things. We still have some critical areas in our state that we need to continue to work on. We need to continue to work on accountability in our state. This is letter grades of schools. We need to continue to work on making sure teacher evaluation is done well but fair. We need to make sure that we take care of early childhood. That's a critical component of what we're doing, and we need to look at those areas that provide more choices for parents. At the end of the day, it takes a long time for us to sometimes turn around systems that aren't doing as well. And parents can't wait for us to turn that around. So we need to make sure they have good, high-quality options when they need them. So that's kind of comprehensive. That includes a lot of different smaller items, but in general, that's the direction we're heading. I think we're making progress in this state. We've got a lot of work to do, but we're seeing groups work together. We've provided our parents in this state more options than they've ever had on how to find a quality education, but we're not satisfied. By no means are we satisfied. We got to continue to improve what exists, but continue to also provide choices for those that need it.
If people want more information, where can they get it?
The best place to go is the Louisiana Department of Education website. On that website is a link to the BESE website as well, and within there you can find all the initiatives, the pushing. You can find out more information about our meetings and our contact numbers.